Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Portal Masters and CoinOpTV subscribers, Robert Welcome here with another Skylanders History. This time around, we've got Ignitor. Now, I'm live streaming. It's live and interactive, so I'll be giving some shout-outs to the chat, answering some questions. What we do on these Skylanders History videos is we sort of talk about the original, the OG Skylanders from the first game and show some of the different series that were released of the characters, specifically focusing today on Ignitor. So let me see who's in chat. Danny Gaming, Dan, Jesse Romero, Christopher, a few other people. Chloe are in chat. Thanks a bunch. Shout outs to you guys. Let me know if the picture and the audio and everything sounds good. I got the gain cranked up on my microphone because I thought it sounded kind of low last time around. So I just want to make sure it doesn't sound fuzzy or weird or staticky with the gain up. So let's get started with the show and kick things off. Here is a look at Ignitor. Now, Ignitor is a fire element who first appeared in Skylanders Spyro's adventure. His catchphrase is slash and burn. Now, on today's Skylanders History with Ignitor, we're going to talk about his origin and go through some of his different figures that were released. Here's Ignitor's origin. It says, on his first quest as a knight, Ignitor was tricked by a cunning witch into wearing a magical suit of armor that he was told would resist fire from a dragon. But, as it turned out, it was made of cursed steel. He journeyed to a dragon's lair, where a single blast of fire transformed him into a blazing spirit, binding him to the suit of armor for all eternity. Despite his setback, Ignitor remains a spirited knight who is always fired up to protect Skylands from evil and find the witch that tricked him. I don't know if we'll ever, get back to that origin where Ignitor, is going back to find the witch. Some of these original characters are appearing in Skylanders Imaginators with their own little quests. Wouldn't it be interesting if they actually tapped into some of their origin story for some of these quests and, showcase Ignitor saying, hey, we got to go find that witch that tricked me, way back in the day. That would be kind of interesting. I see some more people jumping in chat. Tristan Lewis is in chat as well. Holla, Portal Master, rank up to all you guys as well. I normally do these Skylander History videos over the weekend, but it was a holiday weekend and I wanted to get one up. So I thought, hey, you know what? Let's get one up today. So let's get started checking out Ignitor. Here's what he looks like in the fanciness. Of course, I'm jumping ahead. This is a little bit of his legendary look here. But let's start off with the original Ignitor from Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, Series 1 Ignitor. He had the flaming sword. He had the armor on him. I think it was Archean armor. I'm not sure. I got to double check that. Jesse in chat says, I have Ignitor Series 1 and 2. Awesome. Now, there's not a whole lot of Ignitors out there, so if you're an Ignitor completist, there's only a few figures to pick up. Hey, Disney Dan's in chat. Portal Master, rank up indeed. Ignitor's catchphrase is slash and burn. Spyro's catchphrase is all fired up. So, sort of combining both of those together there. So here's the original Ignitor toy. We could see he was pretty much made out of fire. He had the fire base and the armor encapsulating the fire. Cool looking figure with the sword flaming as well. One of his moves was sort of smashing the sword down, and he can really have a high damage ratio of villains, opponents in front of him. He didn't really have a whole lot of... he had kind of a range attack where he would shoot fire out of his head, but it was kind of slow. Ignitor was definitely slow. I think it was more about the sword, the fire sword, swinging it through. I see Johnny H is in chat, and Andre Gaming is in chat and says hello. And of course, Robert the Blastermind is sweating from school. So here's some images of Ignitor, Series 1 Ignitor in action, swinging the sword. Actually, there's a picture of me floating around. If you Google CoinOpTV and Ignitor, you can see there's a picture of me holding up the flaming sword at Toys R Us. I was tempted to buy it. Maybe do some Ignitor cosplay. I have cosplayed as Chop Chop for Halloween, so Mr. Dad Gamer's in chat, and he says, bringing the heat with Ignitor. Okay, let's move on to the next Ignitor. I appreciate all you guys jumping in and checking things out. I know school's back in session, so it might be tricky for some of you guys, but these videos are all archived on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoinOpTV. I don't know why I stutter when I say YouTube. I've been saying YouTube for 10 years. You think it would just roll off the tip of my tongue there. So let's get on to the next Ignitor here. So Skylanders Giants, we got to see Ignitor Series 2 with the new pose, and also Legendary Ignitor. Now this video will be short because not a whole lot of Ignitors that were released, but here is the Series 2 pose for Ignitor. This time around he's got his hands out a little bit, the sword still raised up above, flaming on his head there. Let's see if I jump from comparison. So here is the original one where he's holding two hands on the sword, swinging. This one's a little more of a come at me bro, I got this flaming sword, what you gonna do kind of attitude. And here's some screenshots of Ignitor in action, and he was pretty good. You know, if you came at him with a melee or sword or something like that, he was pretty good at, you know, the close up and personal combat. And he just looks really cool with the flames coming out of his head. No eyes, just flames all around. It'd be interesting if you knocked off like one of his shoes, if he'd have like flaming feet kind of coming out of the bottom right there. Jesse in chat says, Rob, I like how a sword turns blue when you hold down the button. Yeah, some of his power-ups, the swords would turn blue, and you can like extend the blast zone of his sword when it's smashed down. Rob the Blastamind says, my slow dab today gave it all the attention. Are you still dabbing? I thought the dab, wasn't the dab retired? Didn't Cam Newton retire the dab already? So let's get on to the third incarnation. It was sort of the same pose, but we had the Skylanders Giants offered us the Legendary Ignitor. Now, if you didn't know, the Legendary figures are Toys R Us exclusives for the most part. They had gold plating, so same pose as Series 2, but this time around we got the gold plated armor. And for some of the legendary ones, the paint job looks a little weird, but I gotta say they did a really good job for the legendary Ignitor. Looked really cool. I see Danny in chat is dabbing as well. All right, maybe this is a dab week. And here's sort of a screenshot of legendary Ignitor in action. You can see sort of the gold and the shimmy, and also this one here is the legendary Ignitor there. Tristan says, Rob is cool. Thank you. Shout outs to you, Tristan. I see you got a WWE avatar there. Wrestling fan. Shout outs to you. So now, one thing about Ignitor, that's kind of the end of the Ignitor releases. We didn't get a sidekick or mini for Ignitor. We didn't get Eon's Elite, not that I know about for Ignitor. Maybe they'll do an Eon's Elite, Skylanders Eon's Elite repose for Ignitor. As far as fire elements go, he's always a fun one to sort of get in there, like especially if you're doing those arena challenges and there was like villains surrounding you. Here, let me get some gameplay. If there was like villains surrounding you, Ignitor was really good at just sort of swinging his sword. Here's some old gameplay that I pulled from my YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoinOpTV. Hey, look, chatting it up with old Callie here to do a heroic challenge. Remember the old heroic challenges there? That would be pretty great. Dan says, speaking of his feet, on my legendary one, his foot comes off the base. Oh no, does he have fire under his foot? Jesse says, Rob, I have all the Ignitors, Series 1, Series 2, and Legendary. Cool. So you're all caught up. Rob the Last Mind said, Legendary Igniter barely change, but the Legendary Igniter was the best. Yeah, I agree. The gold Legendary Igniter was definitely one of the cooler ones. Again, here's what that looks like. Dan says, no to dabbing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, the dab is supposed to be retired, right? Here's me going through all the challenge levels here. Now, before I show more of this gameplay, there is something else I wanted to show. So we didn't get an Eon's Elite. We didn't get a Superchargers, Repos, Redux, Revamped. We didn't get a vehicle for Ignitor. But we did get the Happy Meal, the Skylanders Happy Meal for Ignitor. Let me show you that. So since there was a shortage of Ignitor things, I was like, let me dig up the Happy Meal Ignitor. So, of course, plasticky, not as high quality. This is the McDonald's Happy Meal, but they still had the same vibe, the flaming sword, the flames coming up through the helmet there, and if you push the button on the back of his back there's a little button. You could actually like swing the sword. So we had a little of animation there with the Happy Meal toys. So and those were cheap. They were only like $1.50 or $2 or something like that. Let me go back over to the challenge stage here with some of the gameplay. Check out some of the chat here as well. Dan says I get hit in the face by dabbers. Oh, don't get hit in the face by dabbers. Tristan says thanks for the shout out. Chloe says you're awesome and always the best. Rob, keep it up. Thank you, Chloe. Jesse says, Rob, when I was in Toys R Us, I saw him in 3-pack. Yes, the Legendary Igniter, I think, came in a 3-pack with Legendary Slam Bam and somebody else. I am forgetting who the other person was in that 3-pack. Danny says I got them all too. Yes. Robert Lastmind says we have the Superchargers challenge in Superchargers. Yes, I guess there was sort of a little bit of a challenge here. Here's some old gameplay. Check it out. I think I've got a like the cook or chef hat on Ignitor. So I thought that was kind of a funny thing to have a hat on Ignitor covering up his flames or something. So again, these heroic challenges, if you're unfamiliar, these were like timed. I think you had to like bash through a bunch of rocks or crystals and get a bunch of keys, open up a door, something like that. This is totally old school Skylanders, and the graphics were a little more mundane, but just want to kind of show you a little bit of Ignitor in action, swinging his sword through, going crazy, and everything like that. So I've done a whole bunch of these Skylanders history videos so far. I'm going to continue doing these probably through the end of the year, as long as you guys keep watching them. And most of all, I want to know what your input is, what your favorite Ignitor pose was. Maybe you can let me know in the comments below. I've done some of these for like Spyro, Stealth Elf, a whole bunch of others. I'm sticking so far with the original game as sort of starters to kind of get all of those original OG Skylanders out of the way. But if there's some that I missed, I know I've gotten some votes for doing a Slam Bam. Maybe that's coming down the wire soon. You guys have to let me know in the comments below which other figures you'd like me to see, which you'd like me to do a Skylanders history video of, talking about some of their powers and abilities and things like that. So shout outs to all you Portal Masters in chat. I see Henry is in chat as well. Shout outs to Robert Blastmine, Dan, Tristan, of course Disney Dan, Danny Gaming, couple of Dans. Dan seems to be a popular name today. Chloe's in chat as well. So give you guys all a Portal Master rank up. What? Logan Fowler just jumped in chat, and Ramir right at the end. Guys, I usually live stream at 12 p.m. Pacific Coast time, so mark your brains, your calendar. Just say, hey, it's 12 p.m. Pacific Coast time, noon in California. Maybe Rob at CoinOpTV is live streaming. I should go check out his YouTube channel and see if that's true. Also on Twitter, I will tweet generally a link when I live stream. So I'm going to wrap up this video. Boom. Portal Master rank up to all you guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the different Ignitors for CoinOpTV. We will see you guys probably tomorrow. Laters.